So here's the truth about financial freedom that nobody wants to admit. You can earn six figures, you can own a home, you can have a beautiful lifestyle, and you can still feel like you are completely trapped in the rat race. I know because I've lived it. After spending 2 decades helping high net worth clients replace active income with passive income and designing my own life outside the cycle, I've actually learned that the real trap isn't your job or your income. It's actually the habits that feel normal but actually quietly keep you stuck. So if you are serious about getting out of the 9 to 5, this is where the real work starts. Because if you don't learn the rules, you're playing a game that you cannot win. So what is the rat race? The rat race isn't just about working a 9 to 5. It's about living inside of a system of expectations where your pace, your goals, and even your definition of success are quietly scripted by somebody else. We're told, like, work hard, be smart, stay on the path. But the path feels like a loop. And that's the real trap. Not the job, but the story we're fed about what making it looks like. So the first trap is that the game rewards appearances, not substance. So research tells us that many people engage in conspicuous consumption. They purchase luxury goods to signal wealth and elevate social status. We're not just keeping up with the Joneses anymore. We're chasing curated lives that we see on Instagram, TikTok, and LinkedIn. What we admire isn't wealth. It is the appearance of wealth. Flashy lifestyles, subtle flexes, signals that you've made it. We spend money to look like we're ahead, even if we're quietly drowning. So let's talk about the antidote. The first part of the antidote is awareness. Just seeing this for what it is, a system that rewards signaling more than substance, can actually help you pull back from the edge. The next part, which I totally get, is harder said than done, is to bow out of that game. This doesn't mean rejecting everything nice or never enjoying life. It means getting intentional. It's actually okay to like the finer things, but make them your finer things. Set up a personal challenge. Get conscious of where you are spending to look successful. Eating and drinking out, dressing a certain way, upgrading tech, travel, status symbols. Ask yourself, is this for me, or am I just fitting in and worrying about the signal it sends? That simple awareness is the beginning of freedom. Every time your income goes up, your spending doesn't have to follow. It's not about deprivation, it's about deliberate trade-offs. And bottom line, your ability to control your spending, even in a cost of living crisis, is essential. So trap number 2, productivity is worshipped, even when it's pointless. So we live in a culture that celebrates being busy. Hustle is treated like a virtue, and if you're tired and burnt out, you're praised for working hard. But productivity without direction is just glorified burnout. You can be highly productive and still make zero progress. I've lived that life, working non-stop and convincing myself that I was getting ahead, only to realize that I was just spinning my wheels. The antidote to this is strategy. Stop thinking in terms of value being about the hours you give something. Start thinking in terms of the value that you bring above just getting the job done. Employers pay for outcomes, and if you just do what's expected of you, then that's what you get paid for. But what I've seen is way more powerful are people who care about the work they do and who bring skills to the table that can add value. And when I first started working as a graduate accountant, I worked really long days, grinding away, just trying to get the work done. And I thought, I'll do a good job and work hard and they will see my value. But they didn't. I was just a minion. I remember a guy called Jeff who started work at the same time as me. He worked way less hours. In his breaks, he spent time getting to know the business, getting to know the people, learning about things that weren't working and trying to solve problems. And after 2 years, he was getting paid way more than everybody else and he was seen as super valuable. That was a tough lesson to learn, but I'm glad it happened like that so quickly. I've seen this so many times in my life. If you want to earn more, become more valuable. This is as much about who you are as what you know. So trap number 3 is choosing the easy decisions now. A guy called Jerzy Gregorek, a Polish weightlifter and poet, said hard choices, easy life. Easy choices, hard life. Too many people choose short-term pleasures, not realizing that the cost is long-term well-being. For example, it's a really hard choice to choose healthy food and exercise regularly. It's an easy choice to eat junk food and, just do no exercise. But one of the biggest lies we tell ourselves is that we will get to investing in the future. Today's for enjoying, there's plenty of time. Or it's just easy to buy lunch or go for drinks with friends every day than to say no thank you or prepare lunch at home. While you're young, it feels like there is plenty of time, but I've worked with many high income earners who kept telling themselves they would start investing seriously in the future. There was plenty of time. They lived large, big homes, flashy cars, wild holidays. Eventually they started to realize that their runway to retirement was short. They forgot about compounding and they forgot that time does the heavy lifting. And instead, they found themselves making impulsive decisions at a time in their lives that they could least afford it. So let's talk antidote. If you want to get out of the rat race, you have to be committed to investing, because when you have a pool of money or assets that you can rely on, then you've got the choice to get out. Starting your investing young does two things. Number one, with compound interest and growth, you can get to a place of financial independence much sooner. And number two, it is the ultimate insurance policy for life, throwing you some unexpected curveballs. So imagine two people start investing. Jane starts in her 20s, putting roughly $250 a month into an investment that grows at, say, 8%. In 40 years, she has $872,000. Meanwhile, Jessie waits another decade before she starts, same amount. And after 30 years, she only has $372,000. A huge difference. So the antidote to this trap is to create a money hierarchy. Set aside money from every pay, no matter how small, to invest in your future self. If you do this, you create momentum with your wealth, which will in turn give you the freedom to choose. So trap number 4 is that debt keeps you obedient. So debt isn't just a financial tool, it's a form of control. That big mortgage, credit card, car loan, school debt, it adds up to one thing, which is dependence. You can't quit, you can't speak out, you can't take risks because you've put your lifestyle on the line. It depends on you staying put. And that's exactly how the system likes it. You're not free, you're owned by your obligations. In fact, the government needs you to work as long as possible because it needs you to pay tax and contribute to the system. Truth is, there's some debt you can't avoid. For example, if you want to learn a specific skill set, sometimes you've got to pay for it. And if you want to buy your own home, maybe you need to borrow money from a lender. But any debt that funds your lifestyle is debt that is optional. For example, buy now, pay later, afterpay, credit cards, any other form of personal debt. Every time you borrow money to fund your lifestyle, you are putting a rock in the bag of life. And every rock slows you down, some a lot, some a little, but ultimately keeps you on the treadmill of needing to work. And the scary part is that most people don't even realize how much debt shapes their choices until they try to leave a job or make a move or take a risk, and they can't. The antidote to all of this is ruthless prioritization and a personal debt code. Set rules for yourself that you won't indulge in lifestyle spending unless you actually have the money sitting there. And this means prioritizing what you want and being okay with getting some things later, not having everything you want today. In my own life, it's happened plenty of times where I wanted something. Sometimes it was a holiday or some other big ticket item, and it wasn't easy, but I learned to save and spend on things that mattered to me. But basically, if I knew I couldn't have something, I just turned my attention away from it. Everything you spend money on is a trade-off. You don't want to starve your life of all joy and experiences, but learning to be selective, that is the key. Trap number 5, success is always defined by someone else. One of the biggest traps of the rat race is the constant comparison with others. And the funny thing about money is that you can't actually see it. It's not like weight, where if someone tells you they're fit and strong, but they're massively overweight, you know something's off. Money and wealth are really deceptive. Sometimes people can look wildly successful, but when you actually saw their balance sheet and their bank balance, you see that it was all fake. One of the things that you really need to get very comfortable with is this idea that you need to run your own race. And that means disconnecting from the comparison game. One of the things I have seen time and time again is people who look around them at their friends and peers and think that unless they make more money, that they have failed. The truth is they don't even know if someone is wealthier than them or not, but they judge success by how they look. So they look at their spending habits and they assume that if they're spending big, they must be successful. Worse, I've worked with plenty of people chasing a certain net worth because they thought that would unlock freedom. It didn't. It was just a number. If you truly want to be financially independent and escape the rat race, the antidote to this is to be very clear on your own measures of enough and freedom. This isn't necessarily an easy exercise, by the way. It requires deep reflection on what matters to you. So for example, how much income do you really need coming in from your investments to feel you could stop work and get by versus some magical net worth figure that's meaningless? And the best way to do this? Set goals on raising your financial literacy. This could mean learn one money principle a month, Not a degree, not a course, just one solid idea. How compound interest really works, what a basic index fund is, what are tax brackets. Every concept you learn builds scaffolding that supports your future freedom. Don't binge financial literacy, integrate it slowly and on purpose. So listen, escaping the rat race doesn't mean never working. It means having the freedom to decide how you spend your time. And to achieve that, it might mean conscious decisions today, not just leaving it to chance. The goal isn't to hustle harder, it's to stop playing someone else's game on autopilot. If this hits home, it's because you've felt it too. So don't stop here. Watch this next video. It's not just about getting ahead. It's about getting the freedom to choose.